Fruits Basket is an anime that heals you. Whether it is through the wonderful portrayal of the power of kindness displayed by Toru, the intricate and complex relationships that the characters forge with each other, and many other things that come together to form a beautiful story about connection. And I think there is no other character that portrays this journey of growth as accurately as Yuki Soma. To understand what makes his story so motivational and powerful, it's important to learn what his character is fundamentally about, something that we can grasp through his backstory and the conflicts he has to face in the present. From the start, Yuki was secluded, cut off from the outside world. He knew very little besides the Soma state and Akito, and this led him to a road of despair that would consume him little by little. Just as many of us, it feels like Yuki was doomed from the start. Every time he felt he had something, it was taken away. Every time he had even the tiniest bit of hope, it crumbled apart in seconds. His mother didn't pay attention to him and used him as a pawn, while Akito constantly berated him and made him think that he wasn't worth a thing. Haru claimed to hate him, and Ayame abandoned him and ignored his call for help when it mattered the most. Undoubtedly, if things were different, if he wasn't the rat, then he would have been okay. But that's the life he got, and he isn't able to bear it. Yuki is tied down by his past, by his trauma. He started to live like a husk, one that isn't able to make the horrible thoughts go away, and at one's breaking point. We run, hoping for something to happen, for someone to save us, for things to change, to feel alive. It feels like a fever dream, and we're bound to see something along the way that reminds us of the rare beauty that the world can offer. It can be the sky, the trees, or in Yuki's case, someone in need of help. Yuki helped Toru come back home, and through it, he felt purpose, because he felt needed, and he continued to hope because of that. He was reminded that despite things looking dark, there is light as well. But hope is ephemeral. And after being exposed to the darkness for so long, Yuki lost his way again. He withdrew to his shell, he closed off his feelings in order to protect himself, and lived as a husk once again. The first part of Yuki's life is what's essential to make his character work. It's the inability to change things, or rather, the feeling that things can't change, of despair as opposed to hope, that turns him into someone so relatable and well-written. He isn't able to come to terms with his past. He blames it, feeling as if he's doomed to suffer. Until he meets Toru again. Yuki continues to try and persevere despite his trauma, leaving the Soma state and moving with Shigure. He wants to be normal and leave the cage the Soma trapped him in, first literally, but later metaphorically. But there's still a lid in his heart that won't allow him to be free, even if he physically leaves the place. A box that must be open. Yuki tries to take care of a vegetable garden, the one thing he can call his own, and try to raise and protect. However, the rain that attempts to destroy it symbolizes the way his past keeps coming back to haunt him, no matter how fresh the start, because Yuki feels unable to interact properly with people, to see their happiness without envying it or feeling small or incapable. He attempts to be perfect to get close to people, but this is precisely what keeps him apart from them. His smile is fake, and so is everything else about him. However, after meeting Toru, she influences Yuki in a way no other person could, as a mother, guiding him through life by nurturing him with care and affection. Toru teaches Yuki about kindness, showing him that his way of showing appreciation doesn't have anything to envy anyone else's, even if it is just because he wants to be liked. She teaches him about relationships by giving him the love he always needed. After meeting her, he can now believe that warm people and a place to belong for him really can exist. Toru teaches Yuki about acceptance, and that's all he needed in order to shine. What's key in Toru's influence on Yuki is that it wouldn't work if he didn't try as hard as he does. What defines Yuki is perseverance. As he so aptly puts it, his ability to not know when to give up. He keeps having hope, putting himself back up no matter how weak he is. Because of his fragility, he is easily broken, but because of his resilience, he comes back stronger than ever. Early as episode 3, we can see how hard he's trying. Even after how much he's failed, he won't give up. He'll fight for his happiness, and it's inspiring. He doesn't want to let Toru's encouraging words and appreciation for him go to waste. He wants to make her proud. And just as Toru influenced him, this is when Yuki starts influencing the viewer to improve. But what is Yuki fighting for again? At the start, only someone like Toru, someone that accepted him, could make him be truly honest about his feelings and his troubles. Because unlike his mother, he felt like she listened to him, that his words meant something. And so, through her, he realizes that in order to form a connection with others, it's vital to go deeper than simply chatting about things. That's true for everyone, but for someone as profoundly reflexive and thoughtful as Yuki, it's especially important. But forming relationships is painful. There will be tough times, anxiety, and moments in which you'll have to be reminded again and again of how pathetic you really are. This was the lid that Yuki didn't want to open, the conflict of bonding with others. And because he has suffered so much, he's unable to control his negative emotions. But through Toru's support, he finally gained the courage to open the lid without his feelings overcoming him. Yuki always knew what he had to do. It was very simple, but also very scary, because it meant leaving the nest, leaving Toru, his mother, behind, and putting himself out there to meet other people on his own, trusting that he can handle himself, love, and be loved back. Despite realizing this, Yuki stays true to his word, and he keeps fighting. And when he realizes that he's escaping from others, he puts himself out there by accepting the position as the president of the student council, trusting in his capacity to do so. Thus, Yuki enters a new phase of his journey of growth, in which, on his own, he'll have to face conflict and hardship in order to achieve happiness. The catalyst of Yuki finally being able to connect with others beyond just Toru is the student council. But what makes them so magical? Were they a miracle that Yuki came across by pure chance? No. Yuki was able to meet them because he was courageous and he put himself out there. After failing time after time, he continued to hope and believe in himself, and he was rewarded. How do you expect things to change if you stay in your bubble, your comfort zone? Yuki realized this, and he put himself in a position he didn't think he deserved. And through that, he was able to meet the most important people in his life. In fact, what makes this so wonderful is that Yuki did this as early as before the story even started. As he tells Toru, he transfers to a school outside of the Soma state in order to meet normal people and live a normal life, because he knew that the key was in the relationships he could forge with others. And because he took that step, he was able to meet Toru. And well, the rest is history. Change is vital. On the same vein, because he gave Ayame a second chance after he abandoned him, Yuki could gain another valuable bond and source of support. To not be stuck in the past and keep moving forward, choosing what he wants for himself without needing to appease anyone else, is the essence that defines his character in this point of the story. As for the student council itself, of course, the most prominent figures are Machi and Kakeru. What's so realistic about this is that they didn't immediately present themselves as Yuki's much-needed saviors. He had to get to know them, fight with them, and make constant efforts to befriend them in order to deepen his bond with them. And through his day-to-day life, through these little interactions, he slowly opened up. He fought with Kakeru because of his crazy antics and his bluntness, but it's through confronting him about these qualities that allowed him to form such a deep friendship with him. Hell, these very qualities are the reason why they work so well, because Kakeru is so honest that when he compliments Yuki, Yuki can't overthink it and feels happy that someone thinks of him in such a way. And Yuki puts Kakeru's brutal honesty to a stop when it goes too far, and makes Kakeru behave himself when needed. Things were not perfect at first, and they'll never be. And despite that, we need to form relationships, and they might surprise us. Through interacting with others, Yuki could feel better about himself, realizing that others also struggle, feel insecure, and can be jealous of qualities one has that they wish they could have as well. He's just like everyone else, and he can help others as much as they can help him. It's the same with Machi. By gaining a relationship in which he can also give instead of only receiving, unlike his relationship with Toru, Yuki was able to gain confidence in himself and feel needed. Having someone to look at him for who he is, a lonely person, rather than the charming prince, and using his experiences of struggling with self-esteem and relationships to help another, and helping himself too in the meanwhile. It's truly beautiful, and the only reason it will happen is because of the hope Yuki had and the efforts he put into fighting for the life he wanted for himself. However, no matter how good things get, the past will always be present, ready to haunt us. Even if you form healthy bonds, once you get back home and all you see is darkness, how will you react? The last fight Yuki has in store is forgiveness. He has to accept reality in a way he couldn't before. He used to wish for his life to have been different, for his mother to have been someone else, for his curse to disappear, and for his bonds to be healthy instead of cruel. But there will always be things outside of our control. And so, when Yuki faces Sakito, after all that she has done to him, he's ready to forgive her. Forgive her in the sense of accepting that what has happened, and not harbor any hate towards anyone. Not worrying about her anymore, not fearing her anymore, not thinking about her anymore, but most importantly, not blaming her anymore. He has so many things to be grateful for now that there's no need to trouble himself with it. He can't erase his past, but through his new bonds, he can move forward into the future. He's done blaming the people in his life for the things that transpired, which is not to say that they weren't at fault, but rather that it's not worth it to put energy in that, to focus on the past, when he has the power in the present to change so many things, to obtain the life he wants for himself. He will focus on what he can change and act accordingly. A shift from a passive to a proactive nature that allowed him to achieve happiness. A growth you can see in incredibly powerful moments, such as his realization of the difference of height and presence between he and his mother, or Akita's uneasiness about the newfound determination in his eyes. Once he's done blaming these once imponent figures, they reveal themselves to be fragile beings, and Yuki has no trouble letting go of them in order to focus on the future. Yuki's story is not only emotional and incredibly well written, but also inspirational. It shows us that we need to have hope for the future, for things to get better, but most importantly, to act in order to make our dreams a reality. To put ourselves out there in order to meet incredible people and make the most out of every encounter. To be honest about our feelings and not be afraid to fight and enter in conflict with other people, because that's how we grow. To get out of our comfort zone and discover how wonderful the world can truly be. To forgive and stop blaming outside forces, focusing on what can change, to realize that no matter how damaged we are, there is always the spring after the snow melts away. Yuki Soma taught me to fight, and I'll forever be grateful to him, to Fruits Basket, and to Natsuki Takaya for that. Thanks for watching the video. It's a very special one for me because Yuki is one of my favorite characters ever. I wanted to create something that encapsulated all the valuable lessons he taught me, and that also did justice to the wonderful subtleties of the way in which his character is written. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe so I can have the motivation to make even more videos like this, related to Fruits Basket or not. This was Catharsis, and I'll see you around.